Today we're going to be talking about area again, but this time figures that are called compound. Now a compound figure means a figure that's made up of multiple types of smaller shapes. So like in this case we're combining rectangles. Those are going to be pretty straightforward, but we're also going to do some more complicated ones that have pieces that are part of circles, and then we're also going to have some that have triangles. So let's start diving in. We'll dive in with that first one here, but let's zoom in. So what we've got is we've got a sort of an L-shaped thing. Now, you know, we don't have a formula for what do you do when you have an L shape, but what we can do is divide it into pieces that we do recognize. So I'm going to split this up, right? And so now what I've got is two rectangles. I've got a rectangle that's 9 by 6, and then I've got a square that's 4 by 4. Now, one thing, let's just use this to make it clear what's happening here. The assumption for all these figures is that everything is a right angle. Now, it's not explicitly said, but the assumption is that everything is a right angle unless it's clearly not. So if it looks like a right angle, we're going to assume it's a right angle. Now, one thing you got to remember is, right, if this is 4 yards, then zoop over here, this also has to be 4 yards, right? So we're just going to extend wherever we have something. If there's, you got to extend. Now, we know this is right because look, here's 4 plus 5 is 9. Now, kind of obvious on this one, but we're going to have to do that more carefully on the later ones. Now, the other thing we want to do is, as we go through, let's name each subfigure, right? So this is going to be A, and this will be B, right? So I've got A and B. And when you do your calculations, it just makes it a lot easier to keep track of things, right? So here's everything we're going to do for A. Now, A is a rectangle, right? So A area equals base times height, right? And so we can just substitute that in, right? Now, again, I know this one's pretty obvious. You could probably do it in your head, but let's just practice doing things the right way, right? We've got 6 times 9. We've got an area of 54, okay? Let's do the other one then down here. And so here we've got B, right? B, and again, you're just going to go through each subsection, right? Again, area equals base times height, okay? Well, this time it's just 4 times 4. You could even call it 4 squared. So I've got 54 and 16. Now we're going to add those up, and I usually find it's easier to add sort of in vertical columns. So I got 54 plus 16, and if you add all that up, right, 0 carry the 1, you got 70, but not just 70, right? We need to say that it's 70 square yards because it's an area. So the total area of this compound figure there would be 70 yards, all right? Okay, let's look at the next one. This one got a little more complicated, right? It's a little more complicated because now we've got something that's part of a triangle. Now we're going to be creative again, right? So let's see. Let's imagine, let's break it into pieces. Well, the way we could break this into pieces is we would just extend over like this. So suddenly I've got something that looks pretty nice. I've got a right triangle here. I've got a rectangle. I got a rectangle. Now, this is where we have to start being more and more careful, because when we do this, we got to figure out what the dimensions are of these little sub pieces. So if this is 4 yards up top, it's just like comes down here. I got 4 yards there. So the whole side length here, 3 plus 4, 7. That matches this 7. This 8 matches that 8. Now this is what's really critical. It's you got to extend these pieces over. Okay. Now, again, this assumption here is that this is a right triangle. This is 19. But notice this height is not 10, it's 10 plus 7, right? Because you've got a 7 here, right? So the whole height, if you were to put the whole thing together, right, the whole height is actually 17, right? So you could imagine it this way too, right? 17 from there up to there, right? So now when we start to put it all together is, let's label each section, right? Here's A, B, and C, just so we can keep track of everything, right? So A, you know, is a pretty good one, right? A shouldn't be too hard, right? A is just, right, area, which is, again, it's just a rectangle. It's just 7 times 8, right, which is 56. B, again, another simple one, right, just area, 4 times 7, which is going to give me 28. Now, it's the last one, C. Now, this is a right triangle here, right? So area equals 1/2 base times height, 1/2 base times height. And again, we just decided that our base is 19. That's not so bad, right? But our height is 17. Okay, our height is 17. Now, when we work all that out, it turns out that area for the triangle is going to be 161.5 when you multiply that out. Now, if you then add all those up, right? And so if we were just to say, okay, great, well, let's put them all together. If we were to add all that up, right? A plus B plus C, right? Put all those three together. You're going to end up with 56 plus 28 plus 161. Your total area is going to be 245.5, again, yards squared, right? So your final answer, again, you've got to add all those parts up. You got to get the 56 plus the 28 plus the 161.5. All those together will turn into this right there. Okay, so that's how we would do that one. But again, you got to essentially redraw, and this is where you have to get a little creative. You got to think carefully and imagine what that shape would be. Okay, so let's look at the next one. This one's a little trickier. Each one's getting a little harder today, right? Now we got to figure out how to split these up, and I'll tell you this: you're probably going to have to redraw some of these on your paper, right? So, you know, if you're doing this, it's going to be hard to do on the screen. So what I would strongly recommend you doing is you're going to need to get yourself, you know, some scratch paper. You're going to come over on your scratch paper. You're going to start drawing all these pieces out, right? Okay. You're going to try and come up with what the shape is. Okay. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because I just want to do this quickly for you. But now we got to let's really analyze these dimensions here. Now, look what's happening here. I could try to like extend this triangle up, couldn't I? I could do something like this, but that's not really so convenient, is it? I'm not going to really like that. Okay, so I don't like that. That's not how I'm going to split it. I could say, well, maybe I could like, you know, do something like this, you know, over here. Well, that's not so clean. I don't like that. What I could do, well, maybe I could do this. I know, I could cut them like that, and then, well, if I'm doing that, then how do we cut this? I don't really need this line. That's not really helping me any, is it? Right? So I'm going to erase him after all. Right? And again, this is my point. Don't expect it to immediately make sense. You know, play around with it. You know, sketch it. Like I said, you know, give yourself a sketch. Again, I'm skipping a step just because I want to get through quickly for you. But take the time, sketch it out, get the key dimensions. Okay. All right. So now that we've got the basic outline of what we're looking for, let's start breaking it down into pieces. Okay, so if this is 5, right, if that's 5 right there, then that means this piece right here is 5 on the inside, isn't it? Well, if that's 5 there, then over here, right, and let's kind of extend this just to make it clear, right, if the whole thing was 8, this was 5, then this little piece right here is 3, right? Okay, that little piece is 3. Now we got to figure out this piece right here. Okay, now this is where you got to sort of sketch and draw and really put it all together. So from top to bottom, we're not quite sure what this is, but we can figure it out from here because look, I've got a 5 and a 4, that gives me 9. Another 3 gives me a 12. So from here, the total height of this thing, right, is 5 plus 4 plus 3. Right? So 9 plus 3. So the whole thing is 12. Right? Okay, since we know that the whole thing is 12, right? Then, and this much was 8, then that means this must be 4 over here. Right? Because you can think about it this way. Here's a 4 plus that 8 gives me 12, right? So that all works out. So now I know the size of everything. I know that this little guy right here has got a height of 3, but oh, you know what? I don't know this dimension either. Well, okay, we're going to do the same thing again. Look, this whole thing is 7. Okay, I'll try to do this one with a different color, right? So if this is 7 from there to there, okay, if that's 7, well, right, this much was 2, so that means this is 5. Taking away another 2, this must be 3. Okay, right? And then you come up here, well, so if this is 2 and this is 3, then this whole thing from here to here, right, from there to there is 5. Okay. All right. So again, you're gonna have to do some kind of figuring. You're gonna have to do some drawings. You're gonna have to sort it out a little bit. Okay. Now let's come up and let's finish this calculation then. Okay. And again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna label all my sections. Okay. I gotta label my sections. So just to help myself keep track of it, so I'll just start down here. Let's call this guy A. Let's call this guy B, C, and D. Okay, so for A, and I just realized when I use an A, I'm kind of using A in 2 different ways today, and hope we don't get them confused. I'm just labeling the section A, not to be confused with A, the area. So just keep in mind that I'm using A in 2 different ways. So in this case, A, the area of A, is A. I'm going to circle this just so you know I'm labeling it. B, C, D. Just so you think I'm saying that's A area. Okay, A, so I got 3 times 3, 3 times 3. So the area of A is just 9, okay? The area of B, right? Again, area equals, it's 4 times 5, right? 4 times 5 equals 20, okay? Let's look at the area of C. Okay, the area of C, again, a rectangle, pretty easy. Now again, it's not 2, it's not 5, right? It's 7 times 5, right? So I got 7 times 5, right? So this one's 35. Finally, D is my triangle. Okay, D is just the triangle, right? So D triangle. I've got area equals 1/2. My base is 13. My height is 4. Okay, right? No, wait. Oh, I just made a mistake. I just realized. Hold on. I'm glad I was looking carefully at that. That's not a base of 13, is it? That's 13 minus 3. That's 10 from here to here. Ooh, that was a close call, wasn't it? Right? This is 3. The whole thing's 13, so this is just 10. So let's fix that. See how easy it is to make a mistake. This is why you got to draw really good drawings and be careful. I've got 1/2 of 10 times 4. Okay, now I've got an area equal to 20. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add up all these pieces, right? 9, so that's 29. Let's see, that'd be 49, and then add that 35 to it, and grand total, we've got 84 miles squared. So the total area is 84 miles squared. Okay, let's just double check, right? 4, 10, right? That makes sense. 3, 3, 5, 5, 4, right? Not 3, right? 5 times 4, yep, and it's 5. Yep, okay, I think we did that one right. Good. Okay, I feel good about that one. Let's move on. So we've got another one here. Now, we're going to make things even more interesting. Now we're going to have some circles, or at least parts of circles, okay? Now this one's probably pretty quickly easy to show how to divide this guy out, right? Let's just slice him out of there like this. So that's all good. But shoot, we're going to have to kind of figure out how to break this up a little bit, aren't we? Okay, so let's take a look at this. Let's just start in the corner here. Now this one seems pretty easy, right? This one kind of breaks up nicely. Boom, boom. That's easy. Well, actually, that's not so bad, right? I've got a little square here. I got a rectangle. I got a big rectangle, and then I've got half of a circle. Okay. Now again, let's go ahead. I'm gonna label all my sections again. Here, I'll just call this guy A. I got B. I got C, and I got D. Now this D, which kind of looks like a D. How convenient. We got to figure out how to figure the area. Now remember the area of a circle, right? The area of a circle equals pi r squared, right? Area equals pi r squared. So I'm going to need to figure out the radius here, not the diameter. And oh, by the way, look, it's only half of a circle, right? So this is going to be pi r squared over 2, right? That's what D is going to be, okay? Area equals pi r squared over 2. So let's see how we're going to figure this out. Okay, now, from, again, process of elimination, you got to be super careful, draw careful drawings, write down everything super carefully, and double check. That's all I can tell you. There's no magic other than just be super careful. So if I know that it's 6 from here to here, okay, if it's 6 from here to here, that means it's 2 here, 4 there, okay? If it's 4 there, then this is 4 here, okay? All right, Well, okay, so now let's put it together. I got 6 plus 4, 10, 13. The whole thing is 13. Okay, from top to bottom, I've got 13, right? Okay, so let me just write that down. 13, right? It's all about being super careful today. That's, again, there's no magic other than just be super, super careful. Okay, all right, so if the whole thing is 13, right? The whole thing's 13, then what I got to figure is that 13 minus 7, so from here to here, right? The diameter is 6, right? 6 plus 7 is 13. Half of that is 3, right? So the radius is 3. The radius is 3, okay? So again, think of it this way. You got a 3 and a 3, 6 plus 7 gives me 13, right? The whole thing was 6 plus 4 is 3, right? 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, so it's all hanging together, right? Okay, then, right, we're just really carefully, we're just going to go through step by step, and this is how we would do it, right? You'd say area of A, right? You've got 7 times 4, right, which is 28. B here, which is 2 times 2, which is 4. C, now again, ooh, I remember this is the whole thing is 13 by 8, right? So 8 times 13, which is 104. Finally, D is the one we got to be super careful with, right? D, I did it up here, right? Area equals pi r squared, so it's equal to, and for this one, right, it wants us to use 3.14. 3.14 times r squared, which is 3, right? Times 3 squared over 2, which when you multiply that out, turns into 14.13. Okay, 14. So now what I gotta do is I gotta have this, 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 this. When you put all those together, you're gonna have 150.13 yards squared. Okay, again, it's all about just being super careful, make good pictures, just go step by step by step, put it all together. Okay, I'm gonna do one last one for you here, and this one I just want to kind of get it set up. I'm not going to show you all the calculations. I think once it's set up, you can probably do the calculations. Let's just see how we might analyze this one. Now, this one's a little bit different because, see, the circle's offset. So again, what you would need to do is you would need to go in there and really draw it, keep very careful measures of everything. But again, I'll just kind of show you a way that you would approach this, right? So here's approach, right? We got a rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. Okay, now this was 5 right here, right? I know this is 3, so it's like putting together a puzzle. Like, I don't know if you guys like puzzles, then you might like these. So we know that this is 3. I know that this, okay, well, let's see. This is 8, so I know it's 8 from here to here, right? So if that's 8 from here to here, then 8 minus 4, 4, another 2. This must be 2, right? 4, 2, 2 gives me the 8, okay? Okay, now, if this is 3, this is 5, then this must be 2, okay? If this whole thing was 8, 8 minus 2, so that means this must be 6 right here. 6 from here to here. The whole thing is 8, right? So the whole diameter is 8. And sometimes we kind of just extend it out here, right? If the whole thing is 8, then that means that my radius, which is somewhere right around here, right? My radius must be 4. All right, so that's enough. Again, I'm from here, I'm hoping you can just run the calculations, and that's it. So remember, most important thing, really careful pictures, write down your work, and then you'll be able to figure out all these areas. All right, have a great day.